Hey guys, it's Maria. Today you get my high-tech chalkboard. We are going to talk about picky eaters today. So this is one of my favorite subjects. I like feeding, I like oral motor, I like working on stimulating muscles, but that's my thing. I'm a weirdo. I like feeding and nutrition too, but as a speech therapist, that's not my job. So it's not my job to tell you what to feed your children when it comes to, what's good for their growth and development, because again, that's not my area. What I like to work on is making sure that their muscles are strong enough to do what they need to do, that they have proper coordination, that they have good range of movement, and that they're able to tolerate different types of foods. So again, as a therapist, it is not my job to tell you what to feed your children. It is just my perspective to try to get you to feed them different things so that we can increase all of their musculature and help them with speech development and everything else that comes along with being able to eat good food. All right, so the first question I ask parents when they say my kid's a picky eater is, what do they eat? Because a lot of times parents come in and they say, oh, my kids don't eat anything. And that's not true. Their kids eat something. There has to be something that they like. And as soon as they start talking, more and more things kind of come out. I mean, that is unless it's one of those kids that does nothing but Pedialyte or milk or something like that, and then, okay, your kids aren't eating anything. Or if your kids are medically needy and they're on a feeding tube, then yes, your child takes nothing by mouth. So what I want to do when I ask your kids what they eat is I start writing things down. And what I want you to do as a parent is start finding your pattern. There has to be a pattern. There's usually a pattern. It's sometimes a little hard to figure out what it is, but there is one. So if I say, what do your kids eat? And you say, oh, they like fries, they like nuggets, they like pasta, right? So I'm writing down my foods. And now what you want to do after you've made this list, and you want an extensive list. Try to get everything in there, even if it's bad food, even if it's junk food, even if it's that one fruit or vegetable that they eat. And now look at your foods and figure out what they have in common. Now, fries, nuggets, and pasta are all pretty soft. I mean, at the end of the day, I have to chew a nugget 2-3 times and I can swallow it. Same with fries, same with pasta. They're all about the same color. It's kind of tannish, yellowish, beige, it's not a whole lot of color. They don't really have a whole lot of flavor either. So we're gonna start putting foods in categories. So let's say this is one of my kids, and this kid likes fries, nuggets, pasta, probably rice, probably yogurt. We're starting to look into that one. But then I get another kid, and this kid likes meat. That's a rare one. He likes meat. He likes chips. He likes a couple of other foods. And now I'm starting to think, he likes food that's crunchy, or he likes food that's hard. He likes food that's salty and food that has some sort of flavor. So once you find your pattern, you'll have a much easier time figuring out what the problem is. So look for your pattern. I know it doesn't seem like there is one when you start naming all their foods, but write them all down and then think about them. Think about eating them and kind of figure out, oh, they're all pretty soft. They're all pretty crunchy. They're all pretty smushy. These are all really salty. Everything he likes is sweet. Find your pattern, because usually once you find your pattern, then you'll find your problem. Okay? So this kid, usually my soft and squishy kid, doesn't have a whole lot of jaw strength, because everything I eat is pretty easy to eat. So if you were to give me a piece of steak, I don't have the strength to chew that piece of meat 20 times before I swallow it. So I'm gonna get tired and I'm gonna give it back to you. And then the next time you give me a piece of meat, I'm just gonna go, no, because I don't wanna eat it. I don't have the strength for that. This kid probably doesn't like a whole lot of soft foods because they don't understand them. If I were to give this one some yogurt, they'd go, because now I've got something soft and squishy in my mouth and I can't really feel it, and I'm like, ugh. So again, find your pattern. That'll help you find your problem. Now, when it comes to feeding with kids, there can be many different types of kids. So the problem may not just be that I don't have the strength to chew stuff, or that when food is too soft and smushy, I can't really feel it in my mouth. They might have oral motor issues, which can be strength, it can be function, it can be their ability to move their muscles in their mouth, move things from side to side. It can also be texture. They can be the kind of kids that it's not that they don't want to eat it, they literally don't even want to touch it. They don't want to look at it, they don't want to have it anywhere near them. Those are usually my kids with sensory problem. So my sensory integration kids, a lot of times don't just have problems eating. They have problems doing a lot of things. They have problems brushing their teeth. They have problems getting their hair cut. They have problems touching grass and sand. Those kids usually have to go to occupational therapy because the OT will work miracles with sensory integration. You can also have your kids who actually have a real feeding and swallowing issue. There are foods that trigger a gag reflex. There are foods that they can't form into a proper bolus or a ball to go back into my throat. There are things that are going down the wrong way and now could cause me to have pneumonia or to be choking. So those kids we tread very lightly with, very lightly. If they have an actual, what we call dysphagia, if they have an actual feeding and swallowing disorder, then we want to make sure that we're treating them the right way because we don't want them to get sick on us and we don't want to cause any physical harm to them. So as a parent, I want you to sit down. I want you to really think about what your kids are doing, what your kids are not doing. Find your pattern. Figure out what they eat, what they don't eat, and try to find the connection because you'll see a connection in there. It's not always obvious, but there is one. Sometimes it's color, sometimes it's shape, sometimes it's texture, sometimes it's being mixed together. Look for the pattern. And then every once in a while, try to break it up for them. If it's a strength issue, then let's work on strengthening their muscles. When it comes to strengthening muscles, I don't need you to use food. If they don't want to eat that piece of meat, I get it. It's hard to eat. Let's chew something else. Let's chew a chew toy. Let's go and get some whistles and some blow toys and other things that I can put in my mouth that I can just chew on. I like rubber tubing because it's really cheap. Really cheap, and you can chew on those suckers for hours and they don't go anywhere. Dog toys are super inexpensive and are actually made of very strong plastic. So work on muscle strength. For this one, it would be chewing. For other ones, sometimes it's actually sucking and swallowing. So whistles, blow toys, straws, anything like that to increase that muscle range. It doesn't have to be food. It doesn't have to be food that I swallow. A lot of times gum can work miracles because I'm chewing it and nobody expects me to eat it, but I can still work my muscles while I'm doing it. So, like I said, find the pattern, then you'll figure out the problem, and then you can kind of start going from there. Adding things, taking away things. Like I said, I'm not looking to make sure that this child is eating their fruits and vegetables. I'm not their parent. Nutrition is not my problem. My problem is making sure that they're getting all of their muscles working the way they need to work to make sure that later on we're using them all for speech correctly. If I can get you to eat your fruits and vegetables too, then hey, that's awesome, but it's not my priority. I hope that helped a little bit when we talk about picky eaters. If you have any questions, let me know. If you have any comments, let me know, and we'll go from there. All right, bye.